Okay, we are back after a small hiatus. The reason we took a small break is we've been developing a men's program called Elevate or
Creative
Elevation.
break.
We need a break too, right?
A creative break.
Yeah. Kind
That's what we're doing.
Reestablishing how we're going to do this, what our priorities are moving forward. So, in retrospect, we formalized our in-person men's group meetings that we do on a weekly basis. We're opening up invitations. So if you're in the Tampa Bay, Brandon area, that's where we're going to start this process. Eventually, this will become an online system. We first feel it's very important that we engage with people on a one-to-one level.
Yeah, I think we need that face-to-face again.
Yeah,
we need to get back to that.
Yeah,
get away from online in some regard.
Yeah, and I'll give it a bit of feedback from a business perspective on that. Is I work within AI systems for businesses, and the ability to create online systems using AI is super easy now. What culminated is a lot of empty systems that don't have the impact of energy behind it that comes with people who are motivated, who drive, who push forward. So, I feel it's important to do things in person more than ever and have that authenticity behind it. Because, as you and I know, and everybody listening is, you can build something on AI in seconds these days, whether it be a video, an image of someone, these things are easy to make. So what's online becomes less and less trustworthy the more AI progresses. So in person is going to become way more important than it ever has.
Well, I think too, like everybody's got a course, everybody's got a little thing that they're selling.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, I think, I'm not saying that consumers are tired of that. I just think the trust is struggling around that stuff to a certain degree.
Yeah.
There's good things out there, but I think consumers right now are still hungry for that in person.
Yeah. It really is moving over more to
what's good with us is like, we're, not to jump into the group just yet, but like you can come in and test it out. You can see what it's all about.
It's real. It's real in person. It's not something that's just, kind of built with AI in 10 minutes and then hope someone buys it. There's a lot of thought process that goes into this, that we put a lot of our soul into this. Mm-hmm. So again, it's January. This is our first podcast in a while, and me and Kevin were going through a lot of the different topics we want to talk about. And I think where we kind of settled where we're going to start, it's going to go into many different locations, but I think the new year, new me, right, is a great place to start. And the reason I want to kind of log on that is we're hitting now towards the end of January.
Yeah.
If you're consistently in the gym, you'll start noticing the gym's getting a little bit emptier now. Right, because that New Year's resolution
picked up this week because of MLK Day.
Yeah, but other than that, you could slowly see that dissipation. And again, that's because most New Year's resolutions last 12 days. Yeah, right. And the reason they last 12 days is because your reason for doing it is, a new year, new me, and you pile all of this on top of yourself, but you haven't really prepared yourself physically, emotionally, intellectually, mind, body, spirit for what you actually want to do. So you're doing it because it's something to do, instead of something that you should be doing. So I'm going to dive into a couple of places, and like as usual, let's back and forward it. Why do you never ever plan to start what you want to do on a Monday or on the first day of the month or next month or next week or next year? Because by doing that, you're already establishing a limiting belief in your mind about what you're starting, right? There is no better time. We've said this countless times on this podcast. There is nothing but right now. You only have the present. Yep. If you want to start something, there's no better time than right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the failure point of a limiting belief, because every time that I'm placing something in the future that doesn't exist, I'm already giving me a reason not to follow through with it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, you're already admitting it's like having a plan B in a sense. You're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. You don't want a plan B because plan A is going to work. Yeah.
And nothing stops you from starting today. Oh, well, I still have to get all this stuff. No, start right now. Yeah. Go buy it. Go to the store. Get it now. Go tonight when you finish with work.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you finish with your day, go get what you need. Start now. Just start. Right. I'm not saying you can't refine it. I'm not saying you can't get better at it, but start today. Yeah. If you don't start right away, you are setting yourself up for the most immense failure you'll ever have.
Yeah. So, I also think, it's just easier to say, that's why people do it. Like, I'm going to start Monday because it's easy to, all right. And then you justify. It's easy for you to justify what you're going to do until that point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to live the way I want to live, and then I'll get it all fixed. Well, the reality is it's never going to change because you're not actually fixing what.
You know what it was kind of. It's always been, listen, I'm guilty of this. I've done this before, right? When I plan to do something, or in the past when I've had that same mindset, because I've done it. I'm not talking from a perspective where I'm perfect. I try to action things when I want to do something. It has to happen now. Yeah. But in the past, I would do the same thing. I'm start Monday. Then what happens is now I'm preparing to punish myself. Yeah. Punish myself, right? I didn't look at it as I'm going to be better. I'm improving myself. I'm working on me. I'm being healthier. I didn't look at it. I'm going to punish myself, right? And then what happens is before I lay this punishment down on me, I now to get all the things that I enjoy, and I need to get them all together. So now I go and splurge and eat every piece of crap you can have. I don't go to the gym. I go
one to the other.
100%, right? Mm-hmm. And I do it because, now it's a lack mindset. I'm going into my plan to be healthier, to be better, to be more consistent. I'm going into the plan with the idea that I'm going to be punishing myself. And I have this lack mindset. So now what I do is I splurge and I pick up an extra 10 pounds before I even start the program. Yeah. Then the program starts. I've loaded myself full of sugar. I've done all the things I shouldn't do. My body's in shock mode just from the things I've added to it. Now I put it into cold turkey mode. Right. It reacts very blatantly bad with that.
Extremes. It's not balanced.
It's not a balanced approach, right? So
I think really, we have this conversation in our house a lot with Sam and I, relationship with food for a lot of people is what's really the struggle. Like I'm going to use an extreme example of an obese person who is just constantly eating. And I've seen this. I've seen even young children at like kids' birthday parties eating a piece of cake. And it's like they're just obsessed with that piece of cake. Well, that's an unhealthy start to a food relationship. And it's, sugar is extremely addictive. And it's easy to get their, comfort from sugar when things are not so good, right? And so, I mean, I love sugar. Like, who doesn't? Yeah. But it's addictive, so you have to be very wise to what you're putting in your mouth. And I think the relationship with food is what a lot of people, when we say get started on something, we're going to talk about the 30-day plan in a little bit, but that relationship or that mindset around the food that you're consuming is really the underlying problem.
100%. And, I'd like to kind of dive into more impact on that. There was a recent, they recently had Oprah on The View. Okay. Right? I think the last 2 or 3 weeks. And she was talking about her struggles with food. And then she basically narrowed it down to that she has the fat gene. Right. And because she has the fat gene, it's the fat gene's fault. Mm-hmm. And then what happened is RFK, who is in charge of health within the United States now, who's done some tremendous things in switching around the concepts around food, went in and said to her, no, it's your choices that caused your problems. Right now, with that said, right, for any female viewers who are watching, and, there's more nuance to this because, again, the understanding that women have a range of hormones and issues that affect them differently to men are 100%, right? Mm-hmm. Men are generally a little bit easier at this point. If you don't have any chronic diseases and you have testosterone levels are optimal, everything else becomes optimal. Right. With women, there's nuances in understanding your hormone biology. Right. Now, the first thing I would ask someone like Oprah, I'd go, have you had your blood test done? Do you know what your hormones levels are? Do you have a lack of estrogen over too much estrogen? Do you have enough testosterone? Do you have enough cortisol systems? Are your cortisol levels running optimally? T4, T3, there's so many different levels. There's so many things that affects women. And I think what happens with women is, and I'm specifically pointing out on women, right? We'll switch over to men now, is that relationship with food when they're younger is talks about the extreme. Right, because women go through extreme weight gain, extreme weight loss. Right, that process creates a toxic turnaround system within their hormonal balances. And then as they age, as we all do, it becomes a little bit more difficult to throw off those types of fats, right? Now, with a woman, it's a little bit more extreme because a woman is, first of all, the way she menstruates when she's younger, her hormone levels are optimal. Has she had kids? Has she not had kids, right? And then what happens is when those hormone levels start changing as they go into menopause, which is perimenopause, their ability to drop fat like they did when they were younger changes completely. And so in cases with women, right, they would actually apply a diet consistently, right, and they would lose no weight. And this is a genuine thing that happens. And then over and above that, what do people do, right? So we go, well, you eat too much, you don't train enough. They can literally drop their weight. And there's a point to men that we're going to point out on this. They'll go and they won't lose any weight. They'll exercise, they won't lose any weight because they're not dealing with the underlying factor of what are your hormone levels, where are you there, and do you have some underlying issue that you may be dealing with that is stopping you from losing this weight. Now, on the flip side, we've had very, very interesting results with men in our group, right? Where all we did with some of the men in our group, say to them, how many meals are you eating? I'm eating once or twice a day, right? So in the morning when I get a little bit hungry, like just before afternoon, I'll have a small snack. Okay, what's your snack look like? A meat stick and a piece of cheese and a cold drink, right? Like it's very basic, something I can grab at the local Wawa. And then you go, okay, what do you eat for that? Well, I'm really hungry when I get home, it'll be some potatoes and some meat and these, okay. Great. I don't want you to change anything. I just want you to eat 3 times a day. I want you to have breakfast. I want you to have lunch. I want you to have supper. Right? Now, there's an argument to be made for intermittent fasting. It still requires nutrition. Right? Intermittent fasting doesn't mean I eat less. It means I just delay the time that I eat to. Right? But now all I'm doing is I'm giving you more food. Right? Yeah. And then I ask you, while you do those, try and make a smart choice. So whole foods, not sugary snacks, things that kind of work in with you. The minute those guys do that, we see an immediate drop of 10 to 20 pounds. Yeah. Right. Because the first problem they had was they weren't feeding their bodies. Now,
they were in starvation
mode. They were in starvation mode. Yeah. Now, with women with complex hormone issues,
a different story.
Most of theirs are also in starvation because their immediate reaction is, I'm eating too much, I need to stop eating. And then their body kicks back at them. Men, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because men have the same effect. I eat less. Okay, but you're eating less, but your body doesn't have enough nutrients to be able to process those functions.
Fed properly.
Right, so now the minute...
Fueled.
So whether you're male or female, the first thing you need to do is, am I feeding my body enough good whole food that it can actually go through these processes? Now, when we talk food, it's not just food. Am I drinking enough water? If you don't drink enough water, the food can't be processed.
Well, I think a common thing I've heard is like they eat that 1 to 2 times a day. Yeah. So you ask somebody, hey, list out what you have for the day. Oh, I had a huge salad is something we've heard.
Yeah.
Okay, well, define that. What's a huge salad? There's a couple things that can go wrong. What kind of dressings are you putting on salad? That alone. There's all kinds of, like a ranch dressing on it is bad.
What type of protein is in there?
But that's where it's going is, I had this big bowl of lettuce or green mix, and then I put 1 chicken breast on there. So you might have 3 ounces of chicken on there. That's not enough protein for a grown man. And if that's really all you're eating in the day, if you have a snack and then a big salad for dinner, you're hungry. Your body's starving. You think you're not hungry,
your body,
but you are.
Because our natural hormonal system, right, is the minute that we don't get enough food in, our body produces a range of chemicals and hormones that actually suppresses hunger and adjusts. And our body is really good at adjusting. It's incredible at adjusting. When we're younger, our innate systems, because we're still at our adolescent stage, even up to the age of 30, you're still technically an adolescent in regards to your body functions.
Right.
And as you're going through that, your body adapts really well to it, right? So you can still lose weight, you're still in shape. As you get older, right, male or female, those innate processes change dramatically. Now, what happens to men and females as you get older, right? So muscle wastage becomes a big thing because you pass the point that your body packs on muscle the way it did when you were younger. So muscle wastage becomes the first problem. The second is the nutrients that supports bone density, right? Collagen production, which generally comes from animal products, right? Not from plant products. So the amount of people I hear that goes, oh no, I had a protein bar. Which protein bar did you have?
Right.
I had this one. What was the protein in there? What do you mean, what was the protein? Okay. How much protein did you get? No, it said it had 40 grams of protein. Great. What protein? Oh, I don't know. I have to get the wrapper. Gets the wrapper, reads it. Oh, plant protein. Which plant? Is it soy protein, peanut protein, rice protein? Which protein is it? Plant protein processes less than animal protein. Right. Already, because you grab the bar, you're 5 steps behind because you grab something processed.
Right.
But the minute that you go read the type of protein, now you start diminishing results. And we've become accustomed to shortcutting results, right? And
if you pay attention to labels, like there's a lot of junk in our food.
Oh, so much.
A lot of junk, right? So
if
you stick to the whole food aspect of it, where if you stick to your protein, like you're eating fish, you're eating chicken, you're eating, we like our red meat, lots of red meat protein aspect, and I know I'm not talking to anybody that doesn't eat meat. So, what you guys do is different, but then there's your carbs. So you have whole foods with carbs. You have sweet potatoes, you have white rice. You could do brown rice. I don't like to do brown rice, but whole foods, Yeah,
but good question you put up. Why not brown rice? Why not for you?
Well, for me personally, it digests slow. I don't like the way it digests. It also, for me, it tastes a little bit. It's not my favorite. It doesn't taste as good as white rice, but white rice digests much faster.
Right. Now, what you're saying there is kind of important, because when you taste something, right, we have a tendency, especially in North America, especially in the United States, to layer our food with so much sauce and sugar that we don't really pay attention to what it tastes like, right? But when you eat like that, your body's already telling you at the point of digestion in your mouth that this doesn't work for your stomach.
Right.
It's connected, right? In order to get there, you have to do elimination. Now, we do
and to me, really quick too, I think, like, I like brown rice. I like quinoa.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like the crunch of the two. I think brown rice has a slight crunch. Yeah. Quinoa to me has a slight crunch. White rice to me doesn't.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's a little bit of a mind to stomach connection there where I'm like, I know that this white rice is going to digest for me way better.
Yeah. And it's doing that because the white rice is brown rice just has the husk alone, right? That husk takes longer to digest. Not everyone's system works as well. There was a big thing years ago where they said brown rice is healthier than white rice.
Yeah, I remember
the concept around that was the brown rice, because it contained the husk around the rice, right? That it wasn't cleared of the husk.
And the argument with the white rice was it was bleached, so that was bad.
Yeah, and it's going to digest quickly and so forth. And that's kind of been thrown out the wayside because you can choose the type of rice you eat.
Right.
But the baseline of this is you had to first find a connection to be able to have your brain and your body know what you feel is good and what actually works for you and doesn't.
Definitely.
And that's where our 30-day program comes in that we do with most of the guys that want to do it within our program. It's a 30-day, no deviation. This is the food you eat. This is when you eat it. You cook it. You know it. You know what it is. And for 30 days, you're going to do this. It resets your metabolic and your brain's connection with food in a way that after that, you're going to eat something that you thought was great for you and tasted great. And you go, ooh, this doesn't feel so good.
Yeah.
And you reset that marker.
And to me, I think what's really important for everybody to understand about this, it's about the food, but it's about the mental gain that you have from this.
Yes.
Your body's going to change. You're going to feel way better, but it's truly the mental side of it that's the most important takeaway in my eyes. And the group that did it back before Christmas, I think actually it was right before Thanksgiving that they did it. The gains that they received from it mentally. And now I will say, like, it's like anything else. Some of them fell off, and that's okay.
Yeah.
They're getting back on the horse. They're closing the gap faster than what they would have in the past.
Yeah.
But don't look at this as like it's a diet I'm on.
No.
It's a mental challenge to help you overcome a struggle with food.
And reset your lifestyle point.
Right.
And you make a good point there. So everyone who was on this plan, and we had some who really struggled with their relationship with food. Now what happens is after the 30 days, in their mind, they're sitting here going, we fell off the horse. And me and Kevin are sitting going, no, you didn't. What you did is the fact that you recognize that you fell off the horse, you want to get back on the horse, and the time for you to fall off and get back on has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Where previously this could be a 6-month process and 60 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it's 10, 15, 20 pounds. You go, oh, I need to change something. And you recognize those markers. Yeah. That's the the mind-body connection that you develop by putting in that discipline for those 30 days.
For me, the word about it is that you're going to gain control of food as a result of this. Yeah, and I think that's the struggle that we have all had at some point in some degree. Even after, for me, like there's still a level of control that's a struggle because, again, there's things that taste good. Like my jam is French fries, man. Yeah. Like I could eat French fries every night. But I can't. It's not wise for me to do that. Same with some sugar. Like I like sugar, and we're trying to teach that with my kids. Where, my oldest loves ice cream. Yeah, maybe what kid doesn't? But we're teaching them like no, like we have like the ice cream cookies in the freezer, and it's like burning a hole in her pocket. She wants one every night. So like, no, that's okay. Like, let them be. We can't have it every single night. Yeah. We have it like once a week typically for her.
It's balance, man. And like I said, kids is a difficult nut to crack because it's consistency and showing in because they don't understand the mechanisms, and you're trying to instill that line in for them. But for you listening, right? So I'm sure. We're going to speak to a whole bunch of guys who are consistent in the gym, and me and Kevin are consistent in the gym, and I can tell you, I don't call it falling off the horse. I just relaxed my regimented routine to enjoy white time off, and I had a great time. Honestly, I worked it into my plan. So there was 2 weeks where I had to tell ice cream every night with my wife. Sat down,
Sam made cookies for the week before Christmas, and I ate my share.
Yeah, I enjoyed my food. I ate a lot, but I've also learned where my limits are, how far I can go, what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat, how I feel about it, and you talk about French fries, like dude, you can really put anything into a diet, right? I
do actually work it out.
You do. You know what I mean? Like you work these things in. If you really like fries, find a way to cook them the right way. Add them as part of your plate.
Yeah, I bake them. Yeah. Truthfully, I bake my fries. It's just a potato. Ultimately, it's really not a bad ordeal. I'm not sitting there dipping it in ranch dressing.
That's how it's cooked.
Right. I bake the fries. And it's usually at least once a week that I have some fries. It's not a light amount. It's about a pound of fries.
And the difficulty that comes with that, right, is the difficulty people have is there is personality traits and people that will claim and say, no, I can't do that because then I'm going to overeat. That's a control factor.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking from experience. Like I can pack away food at an exponential rate. Right. I am one of the few lucky people. I'm allergic to nothing. Right, and I can pack food away at levels that you would think of impossible. Stories that I've had is I've packed away a 40-ounce steak in 5 minutes.
I kind of enjoy when we go eat together because we get looks.
Yeah, it's like give me a 40-ounce steak. That thing's gone in 5 minutes. It's not difficult to get the food in. Right, I've never had a problem with that because I had to train myself from a young age. If I want to grow, I have to eat. Yeah. That's just what it is.
I agree.
However, I've also learned that as I eat things, right, I know what makes me feel good. I know my limits on it too. Like, having cookies and ice cream one night, good. Fine. 2 nights, I start feeling a little bit off.
Me too.
Right? And it's having that connection with your body. And we can't establish that connection. This is an individual thing that everyone has to figure out for themselves. What we can do is we can help you set some parameters that give you the mechanism to make that streamway between your brain and your body a little bit clearer so you can figure these things out for yourself. That's really what we do.
Yeah. And I think another thing, I want to talk to the New Year resolutions folks. Those are, I have a special place in my heart for those people because I'm pulling for them. I want them to be successful.
I want them. It really is. I just want success for them.
Yeah. I get frustrated with people that are, the gym goer that gets annoyed with the New Year, New Me people. Like, no, like be there. Like, I'm glad you're there. And like both of us have had, the first couple of weeks there, people asking for help or suggestions or questions, whatever. And I'm happy to help somebody. I'm happy to share.
I love that. That's what it should be. That's
what I ultimately want to address, though, is to say, like, don't go into the gym. I had a guy. You were up north. I had a guy join me for leg day, and it was what I told him was going to be a good day for him to join because it wasn't a heavy day. It was a lightweight, just lots of repetitions, and it was still a big workout for him. But one of the things I said to him is like, you can't get in shape with me. You've got to get in shape on your own.
You got to work your way to it.
You can join us.
Yeah.
And you got to do what you can do, but you're going to walk out of these workouts almost excessively sore, and that's counterproductive.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're, and this guy, former athlete, so he knows what he used to be able to do.
And he's trying to recapture that.
Right. And you can't do that.
No.
And even what he said to me in the workout was like, this is reminiscent of the things that I used to do. And I'm like, that's great, man. I get that. But you're not at that same level anymore. That's not
today. That was then. This is now.
So you have to rebuild back to it. And so, and I was texting with him this morning, actually, and he told me he couldn't walk damn near for 5 days. And it's not a bragging thing that I'm saying that. I'm showing it as, and I don't know if he trained or not, but if you didn't train for those 5 days because you were so sore and your body was recovering, it was counterproductive.
Yeah.
You need to establish
it's a set point,
a rhythm and a daily cadence. And listen, and the whole reason I brought this up is to listen to what your body's telling you.
Yeah.
Don't push yourself so far that you're so sore that you can't train the next day.
Yeah, and that's an experience thing that I think with this, we had a couple of enlightening days at the beginning of the year, right? Like, I mean, I'll tell you a story about Kevin was helping a young kid who was there doing squats, right? And the first problem was he was squatting way too heavy. Right? The weight's too much. Yeah. And he's not the first one. Like, we saw a lot of kids starting out, or, you know, people who, there was some guys that I could see they worked out before and there's their first day back. Now, with men and even to women to a degree, but this is mostly with the guys, their ego steps in and they're trying to do what they see everyone else doing. So this kid's squatting 225 pounds. It's way too heavy. His squat form isn't where it needs to be. He doesn't have any of the equipment to support. So you can see he's kind of new at this. So Kevin had a great suggestion for him. He walked up to him and he said to him, listen, if I was you, this is how you should squat. This is the stance. He gave him some good tips. Said, take the weight off, start lighter, run your reps, get those reps in. You know, we talk about, you know, I always talk about the Ric Flair 100, 100, 100, right? The reason I like that is because push-ups, right? If you've never done this before, just go stand in the middle of a room, right? Squat all the way down till your butt touches your heels. Do that 100 times. Let's see if you can do it. I guarantee you most people can't. Right? Because it's difficult. It is. Go down and do a push-up. Don't give me 5 push-ups. Give me 50. Give me 100. Let's see if you can do them. Right? Do the same thing with sit-ups. Now what I want you to do is break it down into chunks. 10 sit-ups, 10 times, 10 push-ups, 10. And if you can't finish them, start with less. Right. Once you get to the point that you can finish those, we all have starting points, right? None of us started lifting big weights and doing these major things. And your leg workout is a good indication of this, right? When Kevin started training, and by no account is Kevin an amateur in training. The guy's been training his whole life as an athlete. The training I introduced him to was something that he hadn't done before. Right. It was a different level and a different type of training. Not even level. He's done high level stuff. This was just different. It's different. Right? It was different. So he comes and does this with me.
There's a new approach.
And the approach when we started, 2 things. One, his knees were in absolute pain from what he had done in baseball.
I could not do a squat unassisted. I could not do a lunge unassisted.
Right. And one of the things he said to me is, you know, well, I don't really like legs. Like, you better learn to love it. If you don't learn to love legs, you're going to have a problem with everything else.
That's true.
Because legs resonate. You could not do upper body your whole life and just do legs, and 30% of what you do with legs is going up. Yeah. Right. So it's more important than everything else. Right. And what happened is, over a systematic point of time, what he did was, he readjusted his legs. So his knees are in a position now, they're still damaged. The impact is way less on his life. The ability to do weights at a weight and level and rep range, he's way past the norm. He's at elite level. Now, when you take someone who hasn't trained that way, right? Like this guy that came in, now all of a sudden you're giving him levels of training that he's never done before. Now, again, it's good to go in and test yourself. Right. I implore anybody, if you love training, find someone that is better than you at training, that you can learn from, that you can gain from. Go and train with them. Let them beat the shit out of you. You're going to be sore. Don't try and match them weight for weight. Try and match them rep for rep.
Absolutely.
Right. Find the weight that you can do at the same level, even if it's 50 pounds lighter, and try and match them rep for rep. Right. So that you can get that feeling. And you're going to hurt. But that's someone who is trained. Like you were someone who was used to training. You know what pain feels like. You know training pain. So for you came in, your legs might have hurt for 5 days, but you came to the next leg workout, right? Because that kind of appealed to you because you've already been through it. For those guys who have never trained before, right? Form.
That's huge.
Form. Have a look at a video, see how the guys do it. Take the lightest weight. I don't care if it's 2 pounds.
Well, that's like, Caleb has been joining us. I'll drop his name because I don't think he'll be upset about that. Caleb, I love him, man. He's a great kid. I call him kid. He's not a kid. He's a man. But like, that's something I know you do too. Like, we're helping him a little bit with his form because for his build, he's a very strong guy.
He's strong as hell for a dude. He's
a very strong guy. He's got a really great physique and build to him. That he's working to grow and build bigger. He's in great shape. He kicks ass in the workouts. But just some small tweaks and adjustments to his form is going to explode his strength.
That's it. And again, I can tell you, this 2026, this is 30 years of me training. I started when I was 16 years old, right? And I can tell you the thing that always made the difference for me, and Kevin can sit here, he's trained with me long enough to tell you this, is I try and make my form, my first rep will match my last rep, regardless of how heavy it is, right? I do not sit on that. And that is, if you go look at old school bodybuilders, guys like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Arnold Schwarzenegger, watch their first rep and their last rep. Those guys are consistent in their form, right? Regardless of how light or where they go through. I try and match that in my workouts mentally, and I've got it locked into the point that that's how I train. Right. Because that's what's going to really give those gains consistently over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the amount of weight, right? The guy who's chasing, I want to go 10 pounds heavier on my bench press every week. Dude, sometimes I'll bench 4 plates aside, right? Sometimes I'll bench press 2 plates aside, and that's all I can do. And I'll make sure that those 2 plates get the best form. I'll slow down the action because you don't know what else you're dealing with. You may have a shoulder injury, a back injury. Things happen.
Well, and there's ways to make, like, and with that young guy that was in the gym, I didn't have a lot of time with him. So it was, difficult to give like a full on, it was just a couple tips in a short amount of time. But my thought with him was, by going with the lighter weight, there's so much that you can actually do with lightweight, if you will, because you can go slow.
Yeah.
You can pause. You can control it better.
Yep.
When you start getting that real heavy weight, you can't control it.
No.
It's harder to control it until you've built that strength and you've built that ability up. That form's got to be there. So by using the lighter weight in the beginning, especially if you're new, but even if you're experienced, like you can do a lot with lower weight in higher repetitions.
100%.
There's just a lot of benefits to even going slow, tight, like slowing yourself down, slowing your breathing down, higher repetitions that are at slow pace.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do around that.
And training, listen, again, new or experienced, you're going to listen to a lot of people in similar positions to us, which are giving advice, and they're going to tell you the only thing that grows muscle is heavy weights, low reps, or the only thing that grows muscle is consistent repetitions at a high rate with a specific weight, right? They all work. I'm sitting here telling you I've done every variation of exercise you can think of, from plyometrics, body weight exercises, weight training, cross training, you name it, I've done it, right? Every single one of them work.
Right.
They all work, right? It's about finding the one that you can do consistently with the least amount of injuries that gives you the most benefits on the mind-muscle connection. That is it.
So I want to tie this together a little bit to the New Year resolutions. Like we kind of started off with like how they, struggle to keep up, and they are falling off the horse right now.
Yeah.
Here's what I would recommend to you. If you're that person that's like, I'm sick and tired of the way I look, the way I feel.
Yeah.
I made a New Year's resolution on January 1st. I've already fallen off, or I'm struggling to keep going. Here's my advice to those individuals. My advice is to step back for a second.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace, and then re-attack your plan.
Yes.
You're not going to go, if you were once this high-level athlete or this peak in shape person, whatever you were, that got off track because of life, family, kids, whatever, and now you're 50 to 100 pounds overweight or more, trying to get back to what you once were, let that go.
Yeah.
You're not who you used to be. You're not at the fitness level that you once were. You need to establish that baseline. I love the Ric Flair. It's 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. It's a great way to go. You can do that at home. You can do that anywhere. Do that with a walk.
Yeah. Great place
every day. You don't even need a gym membership. Every day, you do that little medley with a walk. Start with a 10-minute walk. Then do 15. Then do 20. But listen to your body. Don't push yourself to injury. Let yourself recover. But don't, in my eyes, if you're a person, just like the 30-day food challenge, if you're a person who's not been consistent and you've struggled to meet what needs to be done, you need a challenge to do something every day.
Yeah.
So the 30-day food plan is a great mental food challenge, and then incorporate fitness into that by saying every day, you're going to do the Ric Flair, and you're going to do a 10-minute walk. Then add it at next week, add 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But you do that every day until the habit is created.
Yes.
To where you realize that, hey, like this isn't, like I'm doing this every day regardless, because it's like I'm moving every day.
Yeah, it's making me better every day.
Right. And each day I'm getting just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And eventually you'll be able to do a lot of crazy cool things.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part. That's when it starts to get fun.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have, and I've said this so many times in the podcast, in our group, if you're waiting on the motivation, like the motivation is really temporary.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get kicked in the teeth, or you're really sore, or things get tough in your life, the motivation goes away.
That's honestly, that's a good point. And here's the thing is, right? And I want people to understand, motivation is a good starting point.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. If you see, I get motivated by watching a Ronnie Coleman video of him training. I get motivated by watching a good action
song,
movie.
get hyped up.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things, like I said, that motivate me, but there's a formula in regards to how motivation, you can use it to go. It's motivation creates action.
Right.
Action creates consistency.
Yeah.
While you're doing the action consistency, you have to always reevaluate the action, because the action may change. And I'll explain in a second why. So motivation becomes action. Action becomes consistency. Consistency becomes discipline. And now you have a formula that breeds success.
Yeah.
Now, the difficulty of that is you're watching, and we saw this on the first day. I'll tell you a story about the first day that we went back to the gym, right? So it was kind of a weird year because the first was a Thursday, right? So what you notice is the Thursday and the Friday, the gym was empty. Because everybody who had the new registration, I'll start on Monday.
Yeah.
Right. So Monday you go in, the gym's packed. I'm watching a bunch of people train. Right. And I can see through the method that they're training, how they're training, what they're doing. Yeah. I can see that these guys are coming. Now, whether it was a guy that maybe fell off the horse at some point and they decided to come back on, all of them are doing these workouts that I can see, dude, you're not walking tomorrow. You're going to be so sore the next 2 weeks, you're going to quit.
Yeah.
First mistake. Yeah. Right. Pace yourself. Right. Again, Kevin made a great point. You're not who you were. You are who you are right now.
That's right.
If you've had a little bit of a fall off the horse, give yourself some grace. Start slow. Protect yourself. Protect your joints. Protect your muscles. Protect your brain. And work into it so that you can consistently do this. Because if you don't have consistency, this means nothing.
Well, and just to give an example, I'll actually pick on myself with this. Where I once played baseball at a Division I college, and at that level, you faced I don't know, 90 plus mile an hour fastballs. Okay. It's like me saying, that was when I was, 18 to 22 ish, 23. At 44 years old, I'm going to step in the box and I'm going to go hit a 90 plus mile an hour fastball.
Like I did when I was
when I was at my peak at 20 years old. That's ridiculous. Nobody would believe that.
And no one would expect you to either.
To be honest with you, in my head, I tell myself, I could probably put the bat on the ball. But at the same time, I haven't seen 90 plus miles an hour in a long time. So realistically, no, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do it. I might have some core fundamentals that are still there from the back in the days where I just have that muscle memory.
Yep.
But the reality is I have to let that guy go and recognize that for me to come back and hit like that again, it's going to take years of work.
Yeah.
And realistically, I probably never get to that once.
Yeah,
where I once was.
Because you are older, things have changed, injuries have things, life isn't. So you got to give yourself that grace, as you said. You have to.
You have to, because you're not the guy that you once were. I'm not that Division I baseball player. That's not who I am anymore. Yeah. That's not my identity. Yeah. I used to have an identity in that. Yeah. That's just not the case, right?
And you never. And I think for me I'm going to try and articulate this the best I can. Stop trying to be who you were, accept who you are, and be the best version of yourself now.
That's right.
Right? That you just want to be better than you are now, and just keep working on that consistently. And that motivation is good, right? Yeah. And you can re-engage motivation. I do it consistently. Like we said, music is a motivator for us.
Yeah.
I can re-engage it, but I know that it requires the consistency and then the discipline to keep consistent.
Right.
And those guys who started, like if you had that first week and it really got bad, and then this is my personal take on why these things fail, right? So first is the approach where I'm going to start on a particular day, so you already set up your failures next week.
Strike one.
Then you start so goddamn hard that you hurt yourself to a point you either gain an injury,
strike two,
or you're so sore that going back seems almost impossible. Right? Then the third thing that comes in, life kicks in.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because what happens is, why is January a horrible time to start? Right. So it seems like it's the start of new year. It's a new year, new me. Okay. Your new me is everything new. So you're starting a new job.
Yeah.
But no, most of us are just going back to the life we had. So what's the new you? Which part? Just the exercise, right? Because what you didn't account for is all the stresses of life you had last year are still going to come back to you this year, because you still have to pay your mortgage.
Right.
You still have a wife, you still have kids. You still got all these things that you have. Those don't change. If you haven't actually adapted your mindset of how you're going to deal with it, all you're going to do is you're going to enter this new me. It's going to be overwhelming. You're going to get 12 days in, which is the average, and then you're going to quit.
Yeah.
So how do we prevent this? How do you not do this? One, slow and steady, one step at a time. Right.
Well, and to me, like motive is a big factor. Why do you want to do this?
Is it for you? Is it for someone else? Is it for society?
Be honest with yourself. Like, why is it that you want to do it? And the other thing too, we weight train, and there's a lot of studies that prove and show that, strength training is
The
fountain of youth.
The fundamental fountain of youth.
It's truly the fountain of youth. But I will say, if you don't like to weight train, there's other ways to be moving.
Yes.
There's other ways to keep your body
as long
active.
as you move.
You can still follow a meal plan. Okay. So it doesn't have to be the same things. Again, I like the push up, sit up, squats. You shared about your dad doing that and how it changed the game for him at his age. And I think it's really, really important that you just understand your why. Like, what's my motive? What is it that I want to do this for? Is it for someone else? And if you're a family person, in some regards, it should be that.
Yeah.
We talk about in our group, you need to love yourself in order to effectively love others.
In order to be your best for everyone else, I have to be the best for myself first.
Yeah, you have to put yourself first. It's really like, I think, especially in men, like we have this tendency to be the hero. You have to we always, it's instilled in us culturally to put the team first, to put everybody else first. And you don't think about like, let's relate it to maybe a military situation where I can put the team first all I want, but if I'm not effectively doing my job, the team suffers.
Yes.
Okay. So in that regard, you have to be really, really good at your job to be able to help the other jobs. It's the same thing.
I can't bear fruit if I don't tend the tree.
Yeah. Totally.
Right, like you're the tree. If you want to bear fruit that others can benefit from, the tree has to be tended to. And you're the tree.
It starts with you first. If you put everyone else before yourself, you're not going to be that strength that you 100%. Need to be. And I think, another aspect of this for me is, mentally speaking, how bad do you want it?
Big time.
Right? How bad do you want it? And it comes back to, unfortunately, a lot of men wait till a crisis.
Yes.
To change.
Yeah.
And that crisis can be in the form of a relationship. It can be in the form of a doctor telling you whatever's the ailment. And even then, sometimes I feel like the doctor tells you something and go, well, this isn't serious yet, but it could be. And you go, okay, I got time.
Yeah. It can always wait till tomorrow.
It can wait till tomorrow. Yeah. And then you get the critical diagnosis that the doctor says, well, you're going to die.
And then all of a sudden I want to change everything in one day.
And it's too late.
Yeah.
You're too late. Right. So like in the message I have with that guy that joined us with legs, like he was also telling me, again, former athlete, that he's been running because he feels running is the way to get back into it.
Yeah.
And he's like, after the leg day, you couldn't really run. And I'm like, okay, well, why do you want to run? He's like, well, it works for me. Okay. But that's opening you up to injury.
Yeah.
Okay. And my point of even bringing this up is, and I think I want to say he's late 20s. You need to make decisions based on what 70-year-old you will appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm training today, like, I'm 44, I want to be moving my body, still active at 70, 75, 80 years old. Yeah. So the decisions I make today need to be with that in mind.
Yes.
Right. Where is it that I know my ultimate destination? I want to live a long, healthy, happy life. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's make those decisions based on today. So for me personally, I'm a big guy. You're a big guy. Running miles on end is not a way to help me stay healthy at 75, 80 years old.
Yeah.
Walking can help me with that.
It can.
Running is not the best idea, but to me, strength training is probably my number one.
I'm with you on that. I'd always line people, especially at an older age, towards strength training because it's very adaptable and benefits you. But here's also the thing, right? I had a good coach, Andrew Hudson, and he was saying running on your joints, right? Because every step you take, right, every 1 pound you had increases by 10 pounds with every step with the impact.
Okay.
Right. So if you're anything over 160 to 170 pounds, running is exponentially bad for your joints.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
now, short-term sprinting is really good for you. Yeah. Walking is good for you. Running can be a caveat. Now, I'm not saying that running is exponentially bad for everyone. However, there are certain things I choose to do, right, that I choose based on benefits. So, I don't go do things I really like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Right? Mm-hmm. I think it's an awesome sport. It's good. Problem I have with that is if I choose and I do that impact, it really impacts my ability to weight train. Right. So there's a choice I have to make. Now, weight training is always going to win over jiu-jitsu for me.
Right.
I think it's a great sport. If you do it, it's amazing. But I guarantee you, if you do jiu-jitsu as hard as I do weight training, you ain't doing weight training. Right? Weight training will take a secondary seat, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Then focus on the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
If you're running, right? If you're going to go, I'm going to be a runner and I'm going to be big and jacked, you've lost the plot, right? Yeah. If you're going to be a runner, you have to be built like a runner. Runners are lean. Yeah. They have a very different muscle type, a short twitch interaction muscle. It's very different look. And there's nothing wrong with them, right? It can be very beneficial if that's the look, but you have to align yourself with that look. Yeah. I know people who are runners and they're in their 70s, they're still run, they're healthy as hell. Yeah. That's great, but they're aligned with it.
And what I'm hearing you say is ultimately know your body type.
And your body type isn't. I'm a big believer in you can make your body type, right?
Well, yeah, I guess my meaning is like when I say know your body type, I mean know what your body is capable of,
and know what you want,
and know what you should be putting it through.
Yes,
to maintain.
Because especially men, like I want to run and I want to do this. Yeah, it's good, but you kind of choose the lane that best benefits you for a long term, right? Mine is weight training. I've always advocated for it. There's lots of studies that advocate for it. However, you can still weight train and then weight train in a specific way. I've got a good friend of mine, Vincent, right? So he's from Bulgaria and he's a small guy, weighs 140 pounds. He eats and trains to never ever go over that certain because he wants to run and do things that I don't want to do, right? He's healthy as a horse. He's a good guy, right? I don't have a problem with what he's doing. He's chosen his lane.
No, that's what works for him.
He hasn't I'm not going to sit here today and go, well, my lane is I want to weigh 240 pounds. I want to be a big jack guy. I want to go to the gym and a weight train. I want to deadlift over 500 pounds. But you know what? I also want to run a marathon, right? I can run a marathon. I can train for it, but I guarantee you those two things are on the line for long-term gains together. So what I'm saying is choose what aligns with, like if running really benefits you. So you can go for a run for a couple of hours. And I know people tell me it just clears my mind. It's the same as what gym does for us. Right? It's a little bit of different. That's fine.
Well,
but you have to be careful of not loading so many different types of things on. Just understand what you're choosing.
All right.
And if you choose that, there's a very specific dynamic. Now, that doesn't mean you don't go to gym and do weight training. It's just your weight training is not going to look like ours.
Yeah,
it's not going to look like ours.
I think you've talked about this with jiu-jitsu. My thing with running is similar where there's too much that can go wrong, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of being out of I guess the risk. The risk is behind it. So like jiu-jitsu, again, respect for those guys, nothing against them. I can appreciate and respect their craft.
Yeah.
But for me personally, there's too much risk of injury. Mm-hmm. There's too many opportunities of something going wrong. And it's the same with running. In my case, military sports background, feet, knee, back issues from running. Airborne shuffle in the military is the worst thing you can do. We did tons of it when I was at Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
It's bad on you. I don't like to run because of those, factors. And if I don't, I actually saw a girl, she's a big runner, follow her on Instagram, big fitness person, broke her ankle. She was out running in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And, things like that can happen.
And here's the thing is what Kevin says is 100%, and he's talking from his perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
This is my take.
In the same sense, right? A guy who runs could say, well, the risk of injury in the gym is just as much. Fair enough. However, again, how does he apply running? He applies running like you and me apply weight training.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Robbie Donofrio applies jiu-jitsu. Right?
It's what I know. It's what you know.
Yes.
And it's what's safe for
I know what's safe and I know what I can do. I've been doing it long enough. So also when you choose that lane, just understand the lane you choose. That's all we're saying. We're not saying that one's right or one's wrong.
Right.
We're saying choose the lane, but know that when you choose that lane and you're committed to that lane it changes how you do things. You cannot be a 250-pound bodybuilder who runs marathons every weekend, who plays pickleball on the weekend, who goes and does jiu-jitsu every night. You do those, you are going to get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to balance. There's a balance.
And I think I remember being a young guy wanting to do it all. And I think you have to at some point as you age, you can do what you want. You just have to be wise.
You have to be super wise as you get older.
Don't think you can do it all. Don't try to do it all.
I would say this. I'd say that the way that we train, our choice of training, and guys like Jocko, Joe Rogan would attribute to it. The weight training is traditional weight training, but it's not just overloading with weight. It's overloading with repetition, overloading with, consistency in reps and overloading the muscle over time and effort, right? And that may change. This week we may go heavy. Next week we go lighter. This exercise may be heavier than this exercise. But where we really functionally change, we do a lot of functional work, right? And the functional work includes sprinting. There's sprints. There's pulling sleds. There's lifting heavy weights above your head and walking with it. It's motion with weight.
Farmer carries.
Right. And those things change a lot of the way that your body works. And what I found is, and this is my personal aspect, I've adapted the way I train in my training programs so that I can go do, if I choose to, I can go do these other sports, right? And I, if someone told me tomorrow that do you want to go do a 5K? I'll run a 5K. I'll be okay, right?
You'll be on your own.
I don't want to run it. I don't want to run the 5K, but I can, right? I know I'm capable. If someone, if my wife goes, let's go paddle boarding for the next 6 hours, I'm good, right? I can do those things. It doesn't mean that if I get invited to go do some jiu-jitsu for afternoon, I can go do it. I'll be fine. Right? I won't get tired. I can. That's more what I'm trained towards.
Yeah, and I think again, to encourage those trying to get back on track, like I think the biggest benefit to me and just the lifestyle choices made is energy and ability to basically do what I would like to do. Yeah. Whether it's spending time with my kids, playing around, we go somewhere for the day, whatever it is. Right. Yeah. And even just like, I'll also say, I love what my strength brings to me. It allows me opportunities to do, maybe as the words, where you find yourself in situations where the strength is an advantage and it helps you a lot. Yeah. Whether it's just everyday life, whether it's, I've helped people. I can't tell you how many times where I'm at the grocery store and I reach high, grab something for somebody that's a little bigger or whatever, or I don't know. I can't think of any examples, but it's just I love what being in shape affords me.
It's the warrior and the god mentality. Yeah, I feel like I'm capable and prepared for whatever comes my way. I hope it never does, but if it does, I'm ready.
Right,
and that's really what it is.
And it also gives me a piece. We tried to articulate this a little bit with. Well, I should say there's a guy that was telling me about a situation where I was talking to him about, it was a physical altercation that happened with someone in his life. And anyway, what he was trying to help him understand was that, okay, great, you whipped this guy's ass. However, you had too much to lose. You would have been better off to walk away.
Yeah.
And this is a fighter. This guy's a true MMA fighter, knows his craft, and he taught his son. But the point is, when you have that ability to look at somebody and like, I don't need to do this because I don't you're not on my level.
I don't need to.
I don't need to do this. So I'm going to be the bigger person and walk away. There's a lot of value to that.
Yeah.
I think
it teaches you a lot internally.
Humility and all that.
It is.
I think I wanted to kind of shift us into the group, the men's group, and plug that a little bit. What do you think? You good with that?
I like that idea. So I'm going to put a link and an ad in this podcast, so you'll see what it's about. You can go read it. Right now, we're only opening it up to people within the Brandon, Tampa Bay area, right? So if you can make the meetings, and it's going to be in person.
You can drive from as far as you want to be. If you want to be here, you can come.
It's all good, right? So there's an application process, and we're trying to share the message with as many people as possible, grow the groups. We've got one of our previous members who's moved down to Daytona. He's going to start a group up there, which is, I think, is great. I've been in contact with him. So I think for anyone listening, is the idea being is a lot of the things we talk about on this podcast, which is just being a better man, right? The mechanisms of how to do it, what the things we deal with on a day-to-day basis, how we navigate those. Is we're bringing a group and we're going to focus on, we've kind of aligned. We've done these meetings for quite a few months now, and we've aligned it into a process where we talk about our core values, right? And our core principles, or our tenants sit within, it's mind, body, spirit as always. But we've added wealth to that as well. So how to build wealth in your life, whether it be within business and your personal life, whatever it is. And then brotherhood, because that's really the community factor has really made a big difference, right? Men need brotherhood. We've lost that. And we want to bring that together. And then we've got those core values that you have to be authentic. You've got to be honest. You've got to be vulnerable. You've got to be willing to listen. We've got a whole set of those. It's on the website. I'll put the link up. I'm really encouraging people to follow that, and we're going to have sediment programs we're going to run. We're going to open up the 30 days to anyone who wants to run it. Yeah. There's going to be a price attached because I believe people have to have some skin in the game.
Absolutely.
Right? We put a lot of work. Free. And it's a lot of work and effort that Kevin and myself put into running these programs to make sure everyone's supported. You know,
I mean, and to be honest with you, this is a lifetime of experiences that we're putting into a funnel. It's not just all of a sudden we decided to do this. Like, this is truly a lifetime of experiences, a lot of hardships in our own regards, things that we've been through.
Yeah.
And we're guiding. We're referring to ourselves as guiding brothers.
100%.
Which I really love that approach, because in the end, we don't have everything figured out either. No. We're still working through it.
But we got some
figure some things out.
We've got some lessons we can share.
Yeah.
We're gonna start working on an apparel line. We're definitely gonna work on doing more in regards to, at some time, I'm hoping we're gonna run a live event this year where we'll bring, if you want to come out, you come out and we'll do a workshop.
Yeah.
We're gonna work with a lot of different people. So we're gonna start lining up guests.
Yeah.
You know, I want to bring some experts in, have really good information that we can go online. We want to have some systematic information for, if you're a member with us, you know, you'll have some side stuff that you can actually follow and see, run the lines. You know, you don't always have to be signed up to this particular thing. You know, you can kind of feed off it.
Yeah.
The goal really, you know, I'm going to give my 2 cents on this before we close off. The goal really here is, I've said it before many times, Kevin's said it many times on this podcast, is you can't change the world by expecting everyone else to change, right? I can't look at another man and go, you should be better. I should be the example for everybody, right? And we're trying to be that example. We're trying to push that energy out to other men who want to be that example. We're trying to share through, everybody has good experiences. Caleb, Caleb, who trains with us now, he's 24 years old, right? I learn from him and his experiences because he has a completely different set of experiences to what we have, and he feeds off us. So it's not as if there's just this one shot down. It's really a brotherhood of men that are learning from each other through our difficulties, what we're struggling with, the things we're trying to achieve in life, our purpose base. We have a suicide pandemic in this country regarding men, right? And I think it's because men have been allowed to become weak, not realizing that your strength, you want to be the warrior in the garden. You want to be the guy who's capable, and that doesn't make you weak. Right? You don't have to fight in a war. You don't have to go look for a fight.
That's true.
And also really diving into vulnerability, right? That it's okay to have emotions. That doesn't mean we cry and sob all the way. It's men's emotions are different to women, but we want to teach and give this to men as much as possible.
Well, I want to talk on that just a second. I will say that this is, if you're looking for a group of soft, like, this isn't the place.
No.
Like, we're not going to come in here and, validate your feelings and your emotions per se. We're going to
listen.
But if you need to be told to be a man, you're going to get told that.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you to suck it the fuck up if we have to.
100%.
We're going to have some empathy.
Honesty.
We'll have some honesty. Yeah. Like, hey, I feel for you. I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and enable your victimness.
No, victimhood doesn't work here.
It doesn't
work
here.
Here.
That's not something we stand for, but we want you to have a safe space to come in here and go, I'll say this, like, this is, I think, every man's struggle. Man, I'm not having enough sex with my wife. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Like, it's killing me. Like, how do I go about it? We got you, bro. Like, we're going to help you. We're going to share what we know.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in some resources, like, I don't know how to handle a situation with my kid. Hey, we got you, bro. This is what we know.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a room full, like, we have the room that's already built is, range from 25-year-old to 65. So we've got this, like,
really diverse
opportunity. Like, think about that, man. Like Caleb, for example. I know we keep bringing his name up, but 24 years old in a room of, you and I are in our 40s, and then there's 2 other guys in there in their 60s.
Guys in their 30s as well.
Guys in their 30s. And he has the ability to learn from all that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And by the way, we get to hear his perspective too.
Yeah.
Because we can see it from his eyes.
Yeah.
From his eyes. So that's what we're building. And I think, I know the invites that I've sent already here locally. I've been texting people.
Good response. People are interested. It's something that's just what I'm seeing is the reason we can see this is solely needed.
It is. It's absolutely needed. And we have space for it. We're gonna build multiple meetings a week. There isn't gonna be just one. So if there's a day that doesn't work for you, our aim is to build multiple days per week. If there's a demand, as soon as we have enough demand for another day, we'll create it.
100%.
But again, there's going to be a financial cost. It's not free because, you You need to be committed, and we want people that want to be better.
Yeah. You again, like I said, motivation is great, but if it doesn't come with consistency and then drive into discipline, it means nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't help you.
Well, this is a good episode. Good to get back on here and look for more. There's more coming. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
All right.